Have you ever stopped long enough to ponder the literal name of our TVs? Television. Interesting, right? Whose vision exactly? Here in America, we have 200 channels? Not to mention the channels and the apps on our phone. You see, what is right in front of us, but we very often fail to embrace, is that we are the creators of our individual and collective worlds. Not the television, not the news, not the politicians, not even the doctors. And have you ever considered the fact that some of these TV programs might not have our best interests at heart? What if some have figured us out to the point where they actually hijack our true creative nature? Now, I'm not saying all of them are. Some of them are really phenomenal. But my point is this. I think we give too much and massive amounts of our creative attention away to the various distractions. In essence, we're giving our inherent source power and authority away. As I reflect on life, every great endeavor that I have accomplished, attained, and experienced has 100% been attributed to my thoughtful and diligent effort to dream, to visualize, to imagine, and conceptualize. Growing up, I was a daydreamer. I would often imagine a fireman peeking his head into my classroom saying, "Is Danielle here? We need her right away for an emergency." From cutting out paper grocery bags that I designed into costumes for plays that I did outside in my backyard, to being the lead in school plays, to designing a choreography and dance routine in middle school talent show. Thankfully, the visualizations continued as I grew up. I visualized winning soccer championships, even asking my team members to visualize with me in the locker room before big games, to becoming a leading district scorer and winning awards. I visualized becoming elected captain of my soccer team senior year, even though I was moving to an entirely different school district the next year, and my coach told me not even to try. For my career, everything stemmed from visualizing. After graduating from college, my one goal was to make $100,000 and have fun doing it. To manifesting an incredible marriage, a lot of financial success, beautiful homes, fancy cars, to then leveraging this visualization power to shape entire organizations and teams. In my experience, visualization did reach a point where it kind of became second nature to me. The key is to be authentic and aligned. Nothing is wrong with being and living abundant. Just don't let it all go to your head. But I also don't want to negate the fact that I have certainly made poor choices along my journey. I've certainly made poor decisions. I have made chosen poor life paths. So I choose not to be a victim, but I choose to observe my decisions based on what I knew at the time. I say all that to say is that your history is not your destiny. In early 2019, I asked myself a bold question. Wouldn't it be great if I started my own business and traveled the country at the same time? Now, I had no deep cash reserves. I barely had 4 months savings at the time. I had no one in my life who had done this before. I did have my family, of course, during the lockdown, but it was just kind of a raw and heartfelt gust of inspiration. So I totally infused myself in my vision. I printed future desired adventures of my life, places that I'd want to go to. I made flashcards, and I made mind movies, and whenever I was on social media, I made sure morning, noon, and night, I took the time to look at my vision folder in my Facebook area, and folders can be hidden and can be very useful for this tactic. To date, practically 2 years on the dot, I purchased my dream van, which I thought I could never afford. I launched my own company. I've traveled all around the country, visiting all but I think about 4 states, and all done during a pandemic. I believe people get hung up on wanting to have all the answers lined up before they even try. They don't even have the courage to go after something to obtain it. But the funny thing is that there is a process, and Google, Siri, and Alexa can help you find some aspects of the how these days. But you also have to realize that sometimes in life, you have to learn to trust and let life literally unfold day by day. Perhaps, if you're open enough, you might even question that the chaos in the world is here to wake you up, as if life itself, our collective understanding of the chaos in life, could be here to help us realize a bigger truth of some kind. The thing is, you hold the power. Yes, you. It is simply a matter of being determined enough to focus on and be bold with a vision of the future in a deep, emotional, and profound way for yourself, for your family, your community, and the world around us. By applying these principles in this book, I've been able to create my dream life, more love, more confidence, more healing, joy, and true nature alignment to my divine purpose in more ways than I can really admit. If this is the quest you are on, then read on, my friend. It's time you jump back into the captain's seat and become the hero or heroine of your own story. If you want a new outcome, you have to break the habit of being yourself and reinvent a new self. Joe Dispenza. The topsy-turvy nature of our life makes it challenging for people to stay focused on their goals and their dreams. And there isn't doubt that life can be volatile, such that you are never really sure of what happens next. That said, it's not entirely true that whatever will be, will be. You can decide what you want in life and go after it and accomplish it. There are many great examples of people who have achieved tangible success because they leveraged the power of visualization. You can become one of these people when you leverage these tips in the book. The journey begins with what visualization is and ends with how you can succeed with it every day. Enjoy the ride. Chapter 1. What is visualization? One of the most magical secrets in the world is that our minds are incredibly powerful, and what you feed it can affect you in a very direct way. Countless numbers of books have been written about how your state of mind affects your life and how applying visualization into your daily life can actually have an impact and become a catalyst in setting you up for the glorious future you desire. The aim of this chapter is to help you know what visualization is all about, as well as highlighting what it's not. What visualization isn't. Myth number 1, wishing and hoping something would happen. It's true that visualization involves creating a mental image of a target you intend to achieve. However, it's a bit delusional and misleading to assume the visualization is all about wishing and hoping that something just happens. This oversimplified view of this concept is the reason many people never achieve anything tangible with visualization. They assume that they are practicing and utilizing visualization, but that's really not the case. Rather, visualization involves using your thoughts to engineer what you will need to do to achieve it. In other words, visualization doesn't end with thinking about what you want to achieve. Instead, it also involves imagination regarding the steps you'll need to take to accomplish that target. If all you do is imagine yourself achieving a target without thinking about how you'll achieve it, you are in the realm of fantasy. Myth number 2, visualization isn't scientific. In the bid to discredit visualization, some people would say that the practice isn't scientific. However, this claim is far from the truth. Scientists have proven that visualization affects our brains in certain ways that promote the achievement of our goals. The modern world has evolved our technology to the point where we can capture statistical evidence to support this claim. In the subsequent chapters, we will explore the scientific evidence that validates the effectiveness of visualization. Myth number 3, visualization is for lazy dreamers. This claim comes from the assumption that visualization is all about sitting on a couch dreaming about buying up Microsoft. However, many successful business people to well-known actors have shared how this practice changed their lives. Visualization is a thought process that's fueled by a deep desire to move from where you are to where you want to be. So visualization isn't for lazy people who live in the realm of fantasy. Instead, it's for people who are deliberate about what they want in life and will go all out to accomplish it. Myth number 4, visualization is a long-term process. What you intend to accomplish doesn't have to be 15 or 20 years before you can employ visualization. As long as you have a target that you intend to achieve in the future, you can leverage this practice anytime. Therefore, even if your target is something that you can achieve within a week or a month, visualization does still remain relevant. In fact, it's more likely you can achieve success with visualization when working on a short-term goal than a long-term one. Lots of things can happen when you have a long-term target that can maybe make you distracted or veer you off course. So in some cases, you stop seeing the goal as important as when you first thought, if you're looking from a long-term perspective. So you might abandon a long-term target along the way. Visualization versus meditation. One of the questions people ask me a lot is whether they should choose visualization over meditation. Just like visualization, many studies have established the benefits of practicing meditation. These two techniques are interwoven and they share some similarities. However, they aren't directly the same. Visualization focuses a bit more on the mind, while meditation involves both the mind and the body. Meditation is broader and more complex than visualization. So choosing between the two depends on what you want. If all you want to do is set your mind right and keep yourself motivated to achieve your dream, visualization is what you need. However, if you desire to achieve more inner peace by shutting down the noise in your head and drown out the voice in your inner critic, you also need meditation. The beautiful thing about this choice is that you don't have to choose one or the other. You can practice both meditation and visualization without any issue. In fact, you can incorporate visualization during your meditation. So while practicing your breathing techniques, you can take advantage of that period of time to think about your dreams and how you can achieve them. So instead of using a mantra or an object as a focal point, you can actually focus on your target goals and your action plans to achieve them. The inner tranquility that meditation brings can make your visualization more effective. Visualization in the modern world. Elite athletes are known for employing visualization-based techniques such as guided imagery and scripting in their training. They use these methods to overcome fear and stimulate practice. They even leverage these techniques to recover from injuries. Sports and medical experts understand the fact that two people are suffering from the same type of injury doesn't mean that they'll recover at the same time. There are situations where a particular athlete is expected to return within 6 months. However, to the surprise of the coaches and medical team, the person will recover in 4 months. Many people would claim that the difference is in immune systems, and that could be the reason. Indeed, we cannot rule that out, but nonetheless, it's not that simple. Chapter 2. Does visualization really work? If visualization doesn't work, then there's really no point in practicing it. There are many arguments for and against the use of imageries to catapult your destination. This chapter will explore the arguments that support the effectiveness of this practice. We will approach it by highlighting the scientific data that backs up visualization. Science behind visualization. In simple terms, visualization is a way of training your mind to stimulate your higher faculties to support you in achieving what you desire. The more you set your gaze on something, the higher your chances of achieving it. In other words, if you're not expecting much from life, it's not likely that you'll ever become an accidental millionaire. A recurrent theme in the story of successful entrepreneurs, business moguls, and celebrities is how they envisioned a better future for themselves and worked hard towards making it reality. In fact, it's almost 100% certain that the success people have had is in some form or fashion attributed to and harnessing the incredible power of visualization, and couldn't have been by coincidence alone. Does science offer an explanation? Certainly. The science behind visualization revolves around the activities of neurochemicals in your brain. Your thoughts create neural patterns or pathways in your brain. The region of the brain that influences the superhighway is called your motor cortex. It's a region of the cerebral cortex involved in planning, control, and execution of your voluntary movements. In simple terms, the motor cortex connects visualization directly to your actions. It is activated when you think about doing something, such as raising your arm or taking a few steps forward. So visualization over time helps you to remember, and by having a mental rehearsal of your planned movement, the neural pattern in your brain makes those events feel real to you. Basketball players have a strange practice that many find weird. They train to improve accuracy without actually shooting a ball. Interestingly, they get the desired result. How is that possible? They train their brain to succeed in shooting, so they end up being able to replicate their imagination with the ball. Your imaginations stimulate your nervous system, and the results of that stimulation can be mind-blowing in some cases. So you can change the course of your life by designing your future with just your thoughts alone. Your nervous system responds by linking your thoughts to your actions. Therefore, by paving the way in your mind, you are literally closer to your dreams by leveraging visualization techniques. Mental practices versus physical practices. One of the reasons visualization is effective is that mental practices are as crucial as physical practices, according to scientists. In a recent study, scientists examined the possibility of gaining muscle strength by using mental power. The study involved 30 young participants. The first group was trained to perform mental movements of the little finger, while the second group performed mental movements of their elbow flexing. The third group was the control group, therefore they didn't receive any mental training, but were asked to participate in all the measurements. The scientists concluded that the mental training employed enhanced the cortical output signal. The enhancement led to muscles having a higher activation level, as well as an increase in muscle strength of the participants that just visualized. So the results of the study shows that mental practices can have similar effects as physical activities. Indeed, it isn't possible for mental training to have the same results as physical. However, scientists have proven that mental practices can stimulate physical activities. This discovery shows how far we can inspire ourselves towards the achievement of our goals when we train our minds to reach our destinations. Virtual reality and mental rehearsal. Initially, many people thought that visualization was nothing more than a modern-day hype, full of expectations but nothing to offer in reality. However, things are different now. Many doubters are now jumping on the ship. Virtual workouts are some of the practices of the modern world that would have been unimaginable some years before. Virtual workouts can involve the use of technology to bring about a combination of workouts and virtual reality. Or people can simply practice the movements in their heads, as long as it gives the same feeling of being in the moment of the vision. There have been arguments for and counter-arguments regarding the effectiveness of these digital exercises. Nonetheless, many people have claimed that they have been beneficiaries of these arrangements. Further evidence of the effect of mental activity on physical actions can be found in a study carried out by the Cleveland Clinic Foundation. In this study, people who went to the gym were compared with people who were involved in mental rehearsal workouts in their heads alone. According to Psychology Today, the participants who visit physical gyms reported a 30% increase in their muscle strength. Interestingly, those involved in mental rehearsal have a 13.5% increase. All they did was to think about exercising and they became stronger. The results of this study confirms the fact that athletes have always known this all along. Creating imaginations about your goal is crucial to its achievement. So it shouldn't be too shocking that many people from all walks of life are recording tremendous success and achievements by leveraging visualization. It is becoming more obvious by the day that the human mind is a very powerful creator that can inspire great feats. Evidence from stroke patients. Whenever we visualize an action, certain brain regions are activated that stimulate the performance of action. Studies involving stroke victims have proven that brain activities can inspire the accomplishment of physical actions. Most stroke patients don't have blood flowing in certain regions of their brain due to a blood clot in the artery. As a result of this blockage, blood tissue in that part of the brain will start dying, and this can lead to paralysis of some parts of the body. Srinivasan Pillai, the author of Your Brain and Business and Life Unlocked, has a comprehensive explanation of how brain images help such people. While writing in his Huffington column, he explained that creating imaginations about moving a limb even after its paralysis due to stroke increases blood flow in that direction. In fact, the flow can be so intense that it will diminish the amount of tissue death in that part of the body. Intriguing, isn't it? This claim shows that stroke victims can still be able to keep some parts of their brain active by leveraging visualization. They might not be able to move some parts of their body again, but their brains are still working hard to stimulate them. If stroke victims can have this stimulation, how much more can people who have the full use of their limbs and other parts of their bodies leverage? Once you start imagining an event, every part of your body will start aligning to that vision, so you will have an experience with that same image. This is powered by your brain to activate and pay attention to the stimuli to make those thoughts a reality. In the next chapter, we will proceed to investigate the link between brain and visualization. Chapter 3. How visualization affects the brain. Whatever affects your brain will affect you in one way or another. Your brain determines what is real for you. Some imaginations can be so strong that they can actually feel like reality. In this chapter, we will look at the way imagery affects your brain and how you can leverage it to enhance your chance of success. The brain thinks in images. The human brain is designed to think in images. Before your body carries out any activity, it is first pictured inside your brain. Over time, your brain learns your routines and makes this automatic. This automation is the reason some people struggle with certain destructive habits. When you think about an action, your body doesn't carry it out immediately. Your brain will first signal the motor cortex below the threshold required to activate the action. Now, whether this spark translates into actions is a whole nother story. Think of the last time you drove by the gym with your gym bag already packed. What was going on in your head to make you drive past the gym? Lack of motivation? It could have been due to a myriad of reasons or excuses. Since we're creatures of habits, there is actually some level of pain associated with changing a habit. It's a process of rewiring not only your body, but your brain and your will. One tactic that can help with this transitional phase is to have images around you to support you in this new desired physically fit outcome. If you don't have images, then maybe flash a bunch of pictures in your mind of what you want to feel or look like. This simple act could provide the evidence that your brain needs to change its mind. Another tip to leverage visualization successfully is to be consistent with your goals. You cannot plan to be an athlete the previous week and say you have other plans the week after. Your brain won't have any consistent pictures to process, so you'll be creating new pathways all over the place, but nothing long enough to reap the rewards from it. Imagination versus reality. One of the reasons visualization is effective is because the brain eventually assumes that your imaginations are realities. One simple example is when you learn something new, such as how to ride a bike, the memory will make an imprint in your brain. When you keep thinking about practicing the skill, the imprint becomes stronger in your brain. It's also at this stage that you can find it easier to recall anything regarding that task or skill. Researchers explain that the reason for this response is due to the activities of your thalamus. The thalamus is responsible for the reality-making process of your brain. Interestingly, this region of your brain doesn't distinguish between internal and external realities. So when you contemplate an idea long enough, it will start to look real. Understanding how the brain functions and how perception influences other aspects of your brain is a very powerful, motivating step towards achieving your goal. It will spur other parts of your brain and your body to take deliberate actions that will make it possible for you to reach your target. The reticular activating system. You're often bombarded with millions of stimuli and information every second of your life, so it isn't possible for you to pay attention to everything at the same time. Your subconscious mind can only handle about 11 million items per second. However, your conscious mind can only process about 40 to 120 items per second. Another large reason why visualization is so important is due to another area of the brain called the reticular activating system, or RAS. The reticular activating system is a bundle of nerves at our brainstem that filters out unnecessary information so the most important stuff gets through. Your RAS takes what you focus on and creates a filter for it. It then sifts through the data and presents only the pieces that are important to you. So if you aren't consciously directing desired visualization, the RAS will not take into account anything around what you're looking for. In many ways, it acts as a gatekeeper that selects the information that should be brought to your consciousness and the ones that should be put in the background. Safety and interest. When the RAS is choosing the information to discard and the ones to keep, it bases its selection on two parameters: safety and interest. In other words, your RAS gives priority to information that will keep you safe, and the next one on the list is those things that you find interesting. So your RAS will assume that something is important and exciting to you when you think about it a lot. So by employing visualization, you are training your brain to prioritize information and items that are connected to your goals. You'll see opportunities in things that don't make any sense to others because they aren't connected to your goals. Your consciousness has been heightened to recognize those things that can increase your chances of making your dreams a reality. So whenever you see such things, your attention will be drawn to them instantly. Your brain is alert and it will start functioning like a satellite looking for the particular signal. Once it finds it, it jerks you up to do something about it. You can deliberately train your mind to help you locate the opportunities by leveraging visualization. Those thoughts you've created will become the template for the kinds of things your brain will see as important. It will ensure that you don't overlook such things whenever you see them. Chapter 4, the perks of visualization. Visualization can improve your life beyond just keeping you focused on your goals. In this chapter, we'll unpack a few areas. Stress reduction. The modern world is full of stressors, and now it's generally accepted claim that stress is just a fact of life. From going after a new goal or to working hard for career advancement, the sky's the limit when it comes to stress. However, as important as being successful is, you cannot let stress get the best of you, because that won't be good for your mental and physical health. Therefore, it's crucial that you find means of managing your stress level to keep your body and mind together. The good news is that you can leverage visualization as an effective stress management technique. How is that possible? Well, creating images of success and planning to achieve it directly reduces your anxiety because it allows you to pre-wire your body to resonate with a desired outcome. In a way, it helps you to form a level of implied certainty, which makes you feel that you are in control. Nothing is scarier than feeling like you have lost control of your whole life. Harmony with yourself. Your dreams and goals show your personality. And in other words, in an ideal situation, the kind of things you want to achieve shows your worldview and your beliefs. For example, the reason you desire to be at the peak of your career might be because you want to earn a lot of money to be able to help others. So when you visualize your dream, you'll also have imagery of making the world better. Such imaginations make you feel at home with yourself. It gives you a sense of purpose and self-worth because you feel you are embarking on a journey that will establish your personality and your identity. Every step you take towards reaching your destination will make you happy and satisfied because you're doing something that means a lot to you. This harmony is the reason goal-setting experts advise people to set targets that fit into their big picture of who they are in their lives. Clarity. It can be challenging to keep your focus in the modern world because you have more than enough things to distract you. People are succeeding in various things that weren't in existence some years ago. There are several career paths that can give you the same targets. If what you want is financial independence, there are more than 1,000 ways you can achieve that goal in the modern world. So it is crucial that you choose a path that will help you maximize your strength. Visualization enables you to choose what you want to achieve and can also help you to identify aspects of yourself that need to be healed to feel worthy of your goals. Every career path has its own ditches and challenges. If you practice visualization, it can help you crystallize aspects that you enjoy as well as the things you might not. Imagery will help you to plan ahead and ward off distractions. You'll learn to see others treading a different path in achieving success, but you'll find it easier to keep your eyes on your own path and the ball ahead of you, believing more in the process, and so you can reap the rewards faster. Mastery of new skills. How can you learn and master new skills when you've never imagined learning and mastering them? Olympic freestyle skier Emily Cook has been one of the beneficiaries of visualization in this regard, because she would first imagine her performance and then feel the way she'd feel after she's done. For example, if you're learning how to play the guitar, maybe your imagination will inspire you as you think about how your friends and family will enjoy you playing for them. There will be days that you won't be motivated to continue learning. However, because you keep recreating the satisfaction you'll derive from achieving the target, you'll find the will to continue. You'll keep striving until you have the finesse and mastery you crave. Enhanced motivation. You cannot get to the finish line in any journey when you aren't passionate. It is this zealousness that makes you put in your best effort to attain a target. The truth is that the uncertain nature of life makes it impossible to be sure about the outcome of anything. However, there are some things you can do to increase your chance of success. One of them is having the motivation and desire to do all that is necessary to accomplish a goal. Remember that motivation comes from your state of mind. What your imaginations are of achieving your targets with a clear path to achieve them, it makes you zealous to go out and accomplish them. When you know what you need to do, you'll not have issues with believing the process and staying patient. You'll be able to stay committed because you know you'll reach the target someday. Generating new ideas. You need to be creative to succeed in the modern world. The ultra-competitive nature of the 21st century requires thinking out of the box to stand out. There are many people doing the same things as you do, so you need to be able to offer qualities that are rare to become indispensable in your company or industry. So you need to be creative to solve problems and reinvent the wheel when necessary. Visualization increases your creativity by helping you foresee likely challenges that can frustrate your effort. While creating imageries in your mind, you'll also identify potential problems, enabling you to prepare for them. Visualization helps you to analyze the current approaches in a task and how you can make things better. People are always seeking upgrades on the current solutions, and you'll be an instant hit when you can offer them better alternatives to solving their problems. Improved performance. As mentioned earlier, athletes leverage imagery to improve their performance. Besides, whatever enhances your motivation and gives you clarity and helps you generate creative ideas will definitely improve your performance. Visualization boosts your confidence, which is also a key ingredient that enables you to become a winner in every sphere of your life, which will also improve your self-esteem. Therefore, if you're someone looking to improve your self-confidence, your self-esteem, and value, visualization can have an impact on all the above. You will be better equipped to embrace challenges by participating in this technique, which can support you in giving it all you've got. Chapter 5, the common hangups of visualization. If something is working for others, but you aren't getting the same result, it's either something's wrong with the thing or you. If you aren't getting the same positive results that many people enjoy when they practice visualization, it might be because you are practicing it wrongly. This chapter aims to identify symptoms of a wrong approach to visualization. Ambiguous goals. When you don't have a clear-cut goal, you cannot set your mind in the right direction to achieve it. You shouldn't set targets that are hazy because they'll become unrealistic and unattainable in the long run. For example, you cannot say that your dream is to become the best in your field. It sounds reasonable and admirable at a first glance. However, a critical look at the statement shows that it's somewhat vague. So what do you mean by the best in your field? Are there parameters you will use to judge and know when you've achieved this goal? A dream that isn't clearly defined is just a fantasy that will never leave the realm of your imagination. So it's better when you have a goal that involves specific milestones and benchmarks, such as winning a coveted award that will distinguish you from the others in your field. Short-term versus long-term. The requirements for achieving long-term goals aren't the same for short-term goals, which is quite obvious. So you need to know what you need to do in both situations. Short-term goals require a lot of commitment, focus, motivation, and energy because you need to accomplish the target within a short period of time. However, it's a different ballgame when you want to achieve a goal that might take months or years. For example, if you want to become a medical expert, it's not something you can achieve within weeks of training. This target and similar other long-term goals require patience. Therefore, if you cannot hang in there and wait off distractions, you won't be able to attain them. You might have a mental route regarding how you'll reach your destination. However, if you get distracted or frustrated along the line, you'll likely abandon the project and find something else you can do in your life. Pessimism. Negative thoughts are the enemy of visualization. In your mind is full of doubts and disbeliefs in your ability to achieve your dream, and your efforts will be futile. Remember that every substantial target has its challenges. It's your mindset that will see you through during these difficult times. If you allow the thoughts and voices of pessimism to dominate your mind, you'll give up at some point. Therefore, you should do all you can to kick out the voices in your head saying that you'll end up like someone you know who failed at what you're trying to achieve. We all have fears, and it's okay to be scared sometimes. However, you have to face your fears head on and condemn the consequences of your commitment to achieve your goal. Fill your mind with positive images and thoughts that will inspire you to keep you going forward. Lack of motivation. Being overambitious isn't a good thing because it can lead to desperation. It can lead you to be so hyper-focused that you lose everything valuable, such as your relationships with your loved ones and maybe your health, which is very important when it comes to balance. However, you cannot achieve anything monumental when you aren't ambitious at all. You need a strong desire to get to the finish line to achieve anything substantial. When you aren't ambitious, you will take whatever cards life has dealt you. You cannot afford to go through life without the desire to make your mark. You should have things you want to achieve that will give you a sense of achievement. Visualization cannot be effective when you don't have a strong determination to become the best you can be. Low commitment. As mentioned earlier, visualization isn't all about creating images in your head and expecting things to work out somehow. Anyone who thinks that they can make a mark in life with just a lackadaisical approach has no clue regarding what it takes to be an achiever. Visualization isn't a magical practice that gives you results from thin air. Anyone who tells you that you can become great by just imagining greatness is only introducing you to a Ponzi scheme. There are still massive amounts of actions you have to follow through before you can stand up and be counted among the successful people in the world. One of them is that you have to be committed to whatever it is you want to achieve. Once you visualize the dream, you have to be ready to put in the hard work necessary to accomplish it. Lack of training. Some goals and dreams are going to require you to be skilled or highly competent. Wishing you were a massively successful public speaker without identifying what you need to do to develop and then practice that is very much part of the visualization. Mentorship from people who can help you reach your target is also a good idea. It's always better to be trained by people who've achieved your target before because they can give you some good guidance. Such people will be able to provide you with the knowledge and tips you need because of their experience. They know the likely potholes in your journey, and they will warn you about them before you get there. Visualization without getting trained to succeed is futile. Inactivity. An inactive person isn't serious about achieving anything in life. You cannot achieve your dreams when you aren't actively working towards them. Visualization isn't a practice that keeps you sitting somewhere hoping things will work out miraculously. Rather, it fills your boot with the fire to go out to do all you can do to make things happen. Don't confuse patience with inactivity because they aren't the same. There might be periods when you have no choice other than to wait. However, patience doesn't mean that you'll not be doing anything. It's about believing in the process rather than getting frustrated because you are not there yet. Visualization cannot have any impact on your life of a lazy person. You must never rest on your laurels until you have reached the destination. Lack of perseverance. When you imagine yourself attaining a target, you need to persevere until your imagination becomes reality. There is a gap between your imaginations and their fulfillment. It is in your best interest to fill that gap with patience and perseverance. You need these virtues to bridge the realm of reality and the realm of dreams. So be dogged enough to hang in there when things are not going your way. Perseverance is also about being resilient enough to recover when things don't seem to work well or aspects of your dreams get shattered. There are going to be moments like this when it looks as though you'll never reach your destination. This is where it's helpful to have people that believe in you, who can help keep you calm and keep you fighting until the end. So visualization is a means and not an end. Perseverance is one of the keys that will help you to make your imagined reality. Chapter 6, Visualization Techniques. There's no point in knowing about the benefits you stand to enjoy when you don't know how to go about it. Visualization is more technical than creating images about an event and planning to achieve it. There are some techniques you need to understand that will help you succeed when practicing visualization. This chapter will highlight and explain them to give you the best experience. Mental rehearsal. Mental rehearsal is one of the commonest visualization techniques, and many people practice it. It involves creating imaginations of your success in your goal. If you're an athlete, you might picture yourself crossing the finish line to the roar and applause of adoring fans. If you're planning to have a major promotion, you can imagine yourself shaking the hand of your CEO as he or she congratulates you. This simple technique is powerful enough to help you create visuals that will drive you towards making that dream reality. Triggered visuals. The human mind is notoriously adept at connecting experiences together. That is why an experience and a flood of emotions after a powerful memory is stimulated by maybe a nostalgic aroma or scenery. You can also harness this power by deliberately creating a visualization trigger. For example, if there's a song that makes you think about a goal, play it anytime you need something to motivate you to keep your eyes on the ball. You might train for a competition with a particular playlist. Play it when it's time to perform. It enables you to remember the sacrifices and the efforts you put in to spur you towards that performance. Issue yourself a check. This visualization technique is not as common as the rest, but some people have derived outstanding results by using it. It involves writing yourself a check. This technique is limited because it is about earning a huge amount of money. It is worth a try if you have a plan to become a millionaire at a certain age in your life. Jim Carrey, a famous comedian, is a fantastic example of a person that utilized this technique and achieved success with it. He wrote himself a check of $10 million before he eventually became a millionaire. If it worked for him, it could work for you. Leverage a vision board. A very popular technique is to use tangible images. You can achieve this by creating a vision board. This board is a collection of images and photographs that remind you of the targets and help you achieve your focus. Leveraging a vision board is crucial, especially for people suffering from a condition called aphantasia. People suffering from this condition are incapable of forming mental pictures. If you're trying to lose weight, you can create a vision board full of people with the ideal shape you want. Throughout my life, I've had vision boards, vision scrapbooks, vision flashcards, and even mind movies. All have helped me tremendously. Leverage a note card. If you need a way to make your targets tangible when they don't involve money, using a note card is a viable option. Writing down your goals on a note card makes them more grounded in the real world. Ensure that you write these aims in a way that exudes confidence and assurance. For example, you shouldn't write something like, I want to improve my relationships with my friends and family. Instead, you should write, I will improve my relationships with my friends and family. It's crucial that you put these note cards in places that you can see them regularly, or carry them in your pocket when you can reach down and you can be reminded of your goal every time you put your hand in your pocket. Turn your wants into beliefs. One of the reasons many people don't get the desired result from visualization is that they frame their dreams as things they want to happen instead of things they believe will happen. This little tweak can be the magic wand you've been waiting for that will bridge the gap between your dreams and reality. When you hope something happens, you'll have doubts. Meanwhile, when you aren't confident that you can achieve something, it affects your commitment to its accomplishment. However, when you are convinced you will achieve a goal, you'll be more inspired to go all out and make it happen. Locate your happy place. You should have that place in your life that you can go to when you want to be away from the pressures of life. One of the ways visualization can help you reduce stress is when you practice it in your safe haven. Your happy place might be when you're isolated on a boat in the middle of the water. For some people, they are at peace with themselves when they're sitting in the midst of a forest or rock someplace away from home. It doesn't matter what you choose. What matters is that this location in your mind's eye, wherever you find inner peace, think about your future and how you'll achieve your dreams whenever you're in that place. Rehearse challenging situations. When you're about to face a potentially dicey situation or having a difficult time following through, taking consistent action, visualization technique can be handy in rehearsing the event and leveraging the pain versus pleasure technique. Take some time to brainstorm and imagine the discussion or situation beforehand, from what could work out well, what are the pains associated with not taking action, and the likely questions that the other party might ask you. Plan for multiple outcomes. It's always good to stay positive and expectant that you'll get the kind of result you desire. However, it's not always the case. If you're preparing for a race, regardless of your training and preparation, you might either win or lose. You should see yourself winning. However, what will you do if you lose? Will you walk away in annoyance, or will you be gracious in defeat and still congratulate the winner? The fact that you didn't win a particular competition doesn't mean that you will not win another. So plan your reactions in case things don't go your way before the event. Choose a role model. Regardless of what you're experiencing, there have been other people that have gone through this before. For example, if you're experiencing a setback, there are people who've been disappointed before. Steve Jobs was famously ousted from Apple. How was he able to recover? Visualization isn't only for creating dreams and achieving them. It can also be used to recover after setbacks. Think about someone who's gone through the same path in the past. Find out how he or she was able to turn things around and form your own thoughts around that. Wade off negative emotions. As mentioned earlier, one of the inhibitions to successful visualization is negative emotions. You need to be determined when you have failed in the past in what you're trying to achieve. It's natural that the thoughts and images of failure will fly through your mind. However, you must fight them all off and be vocal about it. When defeating and limiting thoughts fly through your mind, turn them around and think positive thoughts. If you're finding it challenging to think positive thoughts, speak positive affirmations. You cannot afford to let negative energy ruin your motivation. Chapter 7. How to use the power of visualization. This chapter is all about the fundamentals that will help you leverage the power of visualization. Select SMART goals. Setting SMART goals is the foundation of visualization. If you don't have things you want to accomplish, then there's no reason to create images for anything. So you need to start by deciding what you want to achieve. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. When your goals don't have these characteristics, you're just emotional about your target. Specific means that the goal is clearly spelled out and not vague, while measurable means that there are benchmarks and milestones that indicate the achievement of a target. Achievable means that the goal is realistic, while relevant means that the target is connected to a meaningfulness that you desire. Finally, time-bound means that you intend to achieve the goal within a specific period of time. Envision the detail. After choosing your target, the next step involves creating imaginations around the goal. Imagine yourself performing and achieving the goal. If your dream is to become a medical doctor, imagine yourself treating people and helping them to recover from pains and diseases. In the same way, if your target is to learn how to play the piano, imagine yourself dazzling a crowd with your skills. However, don't just be fixated at the end. Begin by thinking about the process of achieving your target. For example, think about the training and the process you'll have to choose to endure all the difficulties that might come during this period of time. Determine not to quit regardless of the challenges that come your way while envisioning this process. Employ all your senses. All your senses have to be involved during visualization. You will engage your senses of smell, sight, sound, taste, and your feelings. What will you be wearing on your graduation day? How will you feel on your body? What kind of food will be available that day? Your mind has to capture all these details and engage your senses to make them as real as possible. When your thoughts have been able to capture the details and translate them to your senses, you will fully activate your brain. Be a storyteller. You can aid your imagery by writing a story of success. Emily Cook employs this approach, and researchers have discovered that people who write out their goals have a higher chance to achieve them than individuals that don't. You also don't have to just write it down. Instead, you can also record it as an audio, then play it to yourself at different times. Playing it to yourself multiple times will help you to encode the words in your brain, helping you to form images of it easily. Scientists have found that various parts of your brain are activated when you synthesize an experience by using multiple senses. The resultant effect of this activation is a powerful visualization and more productivity. So you'll be boosting your chances of creating images that will spur you to success when you write and record your expectations and read it or listen to them repeatedly. Be flexible. It's always good to have multiple roadmaps in life to avoid being stranded. You cannot afford to be rigid because things don't always happen exactly as you want them to be. So while thinking about a particular target and how you'd like to achieve it, you might want to think about a couple different ways to approach the target and get to the goal. Ask yourself, what is it you're really looking to achieve? If your desire is to be a musician and you're trying to learn the piano, but the guitar comes more natural to you, then be open to other similar pathways to attain the desired goal. Indeed, this isn't an option you should plan to exercise all the time. However, it could come in handy in case you've had to seek a different option. There's no point to sticking with something if it doesn't fill you up. Identify inner obstacles. After writing down your goal and creating imaginations of it, it's crucial that you identify the likely challenges that can frustrate your effort. So you need to start from the internal factors such as your confidence, your self-esteem, motivation. Whether you realize it or not, you have control over these things. No one can shatter your confidence or reduce your self-esteem if you don't allow them. There will always be people who will discourage you regardless of what you want to achieve. So if you incur these criticisms, it's usually a sign you're doing something right and by being vulnerable to others and they wish they could do it too. So remember that not all feedback is the same, but you do have the power to be your greatest critic and no one else has to have that power. Identify external obstacles. You don't have only internal issues to contend with whenever you're trying to accomplish a target. There are also external factors that can derail your ambition. Funding can be a critical factor that can make it impossible for you to achieve something. You should plan for it as you think about how you'll reach your destination. You can always ask people you know who can give you tips regarding how you can make money to finance your dreams. You might be surprised to find that there are opportunities such as grants that can make it easier. Don't be a lone ranger because it makes you susceptible to being stranded. Chapter 8. Habits that optimize visualization. Just like meditation, there are some habits that you can do to help give you the best experience from visualization. Earlier, we highlighted some things that inhibit your ability to use imagery. So in this final chapter, we'll explore the habits that can increase your ability to leverage imagination to achieve your dreams. Living in the moment. Despite the fact that we face unpleasant situations sometimes, life is also full of beautiful days, people, events, and things. However, you can become so engrossed in anxiety and fears of the future that you'll stop living. In other words, you'll let moments pass you by without experiencing them. People could be laughing and happy around you, but you'll not find reasons to smile. You could even be eating your favorite meal, but it won't taste as good as it used to because your mind is full of fearful and negative thoughts. Even in the midst of a garden full of beautiful flowers, everything will be colorless to you. If you find yourself living your life this way, you need to start practicing mindfulness. This practice will help you focus on the positives and find reasons to be happy in the midst of challenges. If you don't live in the moment, you cannot leverage the power of visualization. Expectation of positive results. Life is full of sad days that come when you least expect them. Sometimes you don't experience a negative situation directly, but you are sad all the time because people you love are going through hard times. If care isn't taken, you can become so used to experiencing unpleasant situations that you start expecting them to happen. When you don't expect good things to happen to you, it will affect your visualization. You'll start to be afraid that something might go wrong somewhere. Indeed, life can be unpredictable. Nonetheless, there are still many people that were able to achieve their dreams. Who says you can't achieve similar success? Reconfigure your mind to expect good things. It will affect your drive and your motivation to accomplish substantial success. Positive affirmations. Your affirmations direct your mind and your actions. Avoid negative thoughts because they have a way of becoming self-fulfilling prophecies. You might end up convincing yourself that you're not good enough because of your negative thoughts and words. You might ruin your mood and confidence, thereby affecting your performance. So you need to be deliberate about having positive thoughts about yourself. Positive affirmations help to eradicate and challenge self-sabotaging thoughts and actions. Interestingly, researchers have confirmed that when you spend just a few minutes thinking about your best qualities before a task, it improves your performance. This will come in handy when you're facing high-pressure interviews. Gratitude. Gratitude is a culture you need to have, especially for the sake of your mental health. Life won't always give you what you want. However, you can choose to be happy all the same. In case you don't know, happiness is a choice. And if you choose to look at the bright side of life, you'll always find reasons to be happy and grateful. Gratitude is crucial, especially after you've lost something valuable. One of the reasons people are depressed after a setback is that they can't see any positive from the event. And it's natural that you won't be happy if you lose your job or a contract. However, that's not the end of life entirely. If you keep worrying about what you have lost, you'll never be able to take your time to visualize new possibilities. Realism. It is a good attribute and attitude when you're relentless and will never give excuses for your future. However, you need to be objective when setting goals and visualizing your future. Wildly outlandish and aspirational goals can be wonderful, and yes, they can be attained. However, it might also be helpful to break down that vision into smaller pieces and build momentum, to build confidence in the direction so you don't lose steam entirely. Contentment. Contentment doesn't mean that you don't have an intention to improve your current situation. It also doesn't mean that you aren't ambitious. In fact, you need to be content to be able to suppress the overdrive and desperation that comes with being too overly ambitious. Contentment is the feeling of satisfaction you have while working towards achieving your dream. When you're content, achieving your dreams will not be what determines your worth. Rather, you'll have self-esteem regardless of whether you achieve your targets or not. You'll work towards not putting yourself under undue pressure when setting targets around your goals and your vision. It's important to set things that stretch you, but not to the point where it's going to create more friction in your life. Proactive actions. When you are proactive, you'll act before something happens. So in other words, you'll be able to identify a potential problem and begin to formulate solutions beforehand. Proactive people prioritize preventive measures over curative ones. Therefore, they hardly make mistakes or have issues solving severe problems. Once you can recognize likely pitfalls on your journey, you'll be able to prepare for them or avoid them entirely. When you need to ask questions from more experienced people, you'll do so. People who ask questions rarely make mistakes. They learn from others, and that helps them to avoid same problems others face because they're maybe naive or ignorant. Life is full of unprecedented situations that threaten to derail us. However, when you're proactive, you reduce the chances of landing yourself into unforeseen problems. We all know that life is full of uncertainties. Nonetheless, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have dreams that you intend to achieve. Your goals drive you towards your destination in life and give you a sense of purpose. One of the tools you'll need to help you reach those lofty heights is visualization. As you would have noticed, visualization is simple. However, it's tremendously effective in driving you towards your dreams. Stop listening to people with a negative or a pessimistic view of life. Indeed, it's good to be cautious and be modest in your expectations to some degree. But nonetheless, there are many great examples of people who have achieved their dreams. Read more about such people, especially in your field. It resonates and is inspirational when you read about individuals who have defied the odds to achieve a goal that is similar to yours. It gives you confidence that you can also do the same when you're ready to pay the price. Remember that dreams and visualization aren't enough to drive you to your paradise. You need to be determined and ready to put in the required hard work, because visualization and hard work towards your efforts aren't mutually exclusive. They're either side of the same coin, and you need both. You are unstoppable. Chase your dreams and become the hero or heroine of your life. Be well.